Hey, Dale here from the Time Machine. Time really gets away quickly here at Wheels Through Time, and we had talked about doing, a dozen shows on Charlie's rare motorcycle. My buddy Myron down in Saluda found Charlie's bike for me down in Charlotte, about a year ago, and we went fast at work getting everything prepared, and over time we've done a little bit here and there, and we kind of missed some of the programming we want to do, but we're actually in the near about stages to having this bike done. John Dills, our painter, and the fabulous project called Matrix Paint has just completed the paint job on Charlie's 36, and what a paint job it is. An interesting story to tell. My other old friend Charlie Stahl up in Toledo, Ohio, back in I think around 1940 something, was at the Harley factory and got the original paint chips from the Harley Davidson Motor Company and all the custom paint jobs that they produced from 1928 to 1940. This bike has one of those paint jobs, and we don't know what they called it, but it's kind of a gold and black 1936 paint scheme. John's done a tremendous job using Matrix Paint to really do a great paint job on this bike. We're going to give you a demo on how great Matrix Paint is in just a minute. And the bike itself, 1936 knucklehead. We had done some programming earlier on the rear engine cases, determining this is probably one of the first 20 or 30 36 knuckleheads ever built. After some intensive welding on the transmission case, we got the gearbox put together, the motors assembled, repair work to the handlebars by Tom Faber. Mo's done a lot of small things on this bike. I've been on the bike for about a year, just a little bit here and there in getting this bike put together. But the bike itself, truly a rare machine. In 1936, Harley built about 2,000 of these bikes. There's two other ones here at Wheels Through Time, and what a bike it is. When Mo found this bike for me down in Charlotte, North Carolina, this machine right here, 1936 knucklehead, there was also part of a 1937 side valve, and we're going to make that into an extremely cool bike that's called a UMG. I don't think there's another one in the world. We'll be doing some programming on that. But this bike has come a long way, and over the next week or two we should have this bike up and finished and running. I've got to get in here and get the tires mounted today, and Mo's going to be working on a little bit of the wiring. Don't know what John's going to do, but you can be sure we're going to keep him busy. I hope I didn't get a little ahead of myself in saying we're going to have this bike done in a few weeks, although the bike really kind of looks like a complete bike missing a few pieces. The small and tedious work is really the time consuming, and of course all the hookups have to be done. This is the really ancient 1936 oil tank. It was chrome plated. John's painted it with Matrix Paint. It's the flat top 1936 variety. 2-bolt carburetor. It's an M5 linker. I think it's the only 2-bolt M5 linker I've ever seen. I've heard about a few of them. But all the hookups that are entailed in getting this bike done are quite time-consuming. Oil lines, throttle cable, wiring, a lot of nuts and bolts and miscellaneous parts. So there's still probably 100 hours worth of work to do to complete this machine. And we're going to be on it fast and furious. We always talk about where the components come from on these rare old bikes. Although Charlie handed me over a complete bike missing a lot of hardware, there's always a lot of small miscellaneous parts and detailed parts that need to be found. Experts around the country, Janos, the famous Canadian speedometer man, finessed this perfect 100 mile per hour, 1936 only speedometer. My good friend Matt Olson went through an immense amount of trouble to actually recreate this, and in 1935, I believe, Harley made the option of a 5-inch round air cleaner, and he actually produced these at great expense, I might add. I won't tell you how much this thing cost. You'll have to call him. But 1935 air cleaner, proper on the 1936 knucklehead, complete with a little nomenclature tag, and Matt Olson and Carl Olson in Aberdeen, South Dakota, make this part perfect for the 36 knucklehead. Replacement parts are fine. We use a lot of them, try to use mostly original components, and once in a while we get really lucky and find brand new old stock parts. That means new from the Harley factory that have been laying around for God knows how many years. And I found a complete set of oil lines, which I believe are 1 year only, 1936. These oil lines actually came with the original parts tag. Well, I hope he brought you up to speed on where Charlie's old 36 was, and of course Charlie spent 30 years collecting parts. He's going to be pretty happy to see this motorcycle complete, and in the next month or so we're going to have this bike done, up and running. We're going to try to get Charlie in here, maybe drink a beer or two, and share his 36 with the world. Oh yeah, one more thing. I was telling you how great Matrix Paint is, and I've got to tell you, it is the most resilient, tough paint I've ever seen, and I'm going to give you the demo right now. This is a snap-on hard plastic screwdriver. This is a 1936 knucklehead frame with matrix paint, and I'm just going to whack it. And look at that, not a scratch. You want to see it again? Whack! Not a scratch. And that's it for matrix paint.